Hello everyone. We had a bit of a brownout, so the storm was coming. Pat Lawler warned us, and we did not take heed. All right, let's get that. That's pretty good. Okay. Woo! That was fun. Let's see if we can get, we're going to get started on the tutorial here shortly, very shortly. All right, I'm back. I hope everybody was worried. I was worried about me. I wasn't sure if I was going to die or what. Okay, the storm's back.
The Twilight Zone.
We're now back on. Fingers crossed we don't get booted off again. Jackbot is good. I'm a big fan of Pinbot. I think that if you like Pinbot, you'll like Jackbot. It's definitely an expanded rule set. It's good. I like it. I enjoy it thoroughly. All right, let's see if we can get back. Okay, so let's play. It's going to be more of a for the time being, more of a kind of a philosophical tutorial, more about the philosophy of time, not time. I've been playing Time Warp for Twilight Zone. Okay, so one of the most, definitely one of the most highly produced games, super popular, love it to death, absolutely. Everybody, thanks for the host, Papa TV, Jaded, David, Batman, everybody. I really appreciate the auto host. You guys are the best. Okay, so we've got a couple different things to kind of go over. There's definitely a definitely a complex machine for sure. I'm gonna move the light a little bit closer. All right, there's all sorts of soldering going on here. Okay. So you've got your skill shot, and most experts just plunge straight across. You can, many games will let you bounce over. This particular one, and you have to, you really have to take into account, like I was saying before, that you got to kind of play it through. Okay, so this machine was designed by Pat Lawler. Software by Ted Estes, music by Chris Granner and Golden Earring. It is, it's definitely has one of the highest productions rates, things or whatever, of any game. And so basically, Pat Lawler designed the Addams Family. And it was so wildly successful. This is how the legend goes anyways, right? It was so wildly successful that Bally Williams basically just said, like, hey, for your next machine, you can pretty much do whatever you want to do. And this is what he did. He put so many, this is a huge turning point. I think that having the DMD in a machine, that was a turning point. Going solid state, that was a turning point. This machine was a turning point because it has so many bells and whistles. The rules are up until that point, I mean, rules that were this complex and nuanced were completely unheard of. So it's a pretty amazing game, absolutely, and it's a beautiful game, and it sold very well. One of the problems is that at the time, it was so complex, and up until that point, they really nobody had really seen anything like it. So you had a lot of operators who just really felt like it was not a great game. It didn't do well on location because players just didn't understand. They didn't understand, it was, there was nobody there. We didn't have their internet wasn't around. You couldn't really look up rules. I mean, the rule card has if you look at the rule card here, down at the bottom of the screen, I mean, it basically has the same amount of rules as an early solid state game. And so, this just barely scratches the surface into, what the game is capable of doing. So I mean, I hopefully that kind of gives you something of an insight into into the game. Let's turn this up just a hair. Let's fix that. All right, so, okay, let's turn that. We're going to turn me up a little bit. This is so much fun. Got to get everything perfect, right? Right. Okay. That's probably too much. That's probably not enough. That's probably just right. Okay. So what do we have here? All right. Complicated game. Absolutely complicated. In this particular instance, the left ramp is not registering. So we just have to keep that in mind. That's something that you're going to run into, on a lot of, whether it be in location, you're going to run into that. It's not beyond reason that every game is not going to be completely working. So you have to kind of come up with a technique to get your game rolling. So I'm going to kind of walk you through the basics of the game. On most Twilight Zones, I'm going to always long punch. I'm going to then shoot the left ramp and the right ramp, and that will light your lock. There's this little, just between the clock and the right ramp, there's a little shot, alleyway there, that once you light your lock, you lock a ball right there. So you'll lock it in there, then you'll start your multi-ball by shooting the left ramp. Now, one thing you can do, if you lock a second ball, your jackpots, so instead of shooting that left ramp, if you lock a second ball, your jackpots will be higher. So if you lock two balls in there, you're better off, absolutely. Similar to Addams Family, you shoot the scoop to start a mode, and you can start a lot of different modes, and that's kind of like one of the techniques is to work your way through all these different modes to get to the wizard mode. So you got your piano shot and you got your slot machine. So I believe that the piano shot is lit by shooting the left ramp, and your slot machine is lit by shooting the right ramp. I believe. Let's see here. Shoot the left ramp for the piano. Yeah, I was right. Okay. So once you shoot those, you'll start a mode. And those modes will be, worth a certain amount of points, and that's definitely a good way to work through the game. And that's kind of what I'm going to focus on. Typically, though, if a game has their multi-ball working really well, I'm going to light my multi-ball. I'm going to get into multi-ball as soon as I can. Your balls are going to come up and around, and your jackpot shot is the piano shot, which is just below the clock. So you shoot that. Then you relight it by getting it into the camera shot, which is under the power playfield. So basically, you're alternating shots of piano, camera, piano, camera. One trick is, if you can kind of see, there's this little mini flipper that's right there. One trick is when you're going for the camera shot, you want to get that flipper up. It actually creates, it pretty much, like almost triples the amount of size that you get to kind of the area that you're flipping your ball through. So that's definitely a really good. That's kind of a good tip. So and for anybody who hasn't watched my stream before, what I try to do is I try to look at the game, and rather than go through all the different modes of like, here's how you do the mode, blah blah blah, here's how you get to the wizard mode, all this and that. I try to look at really like, for a player that's not great, your time on a machine is limited. So what are the things that are going to get you, that are going to make you the least amount embarrassed? So basically on this game, there's two things. Getting multi-ball started, shooting the left ramp, shooting the right ramp, shooting that right alleyway to lock your ball, then shooting the left ramp to get your multi-ball started, shooting the piano, get your jackpots, shooting the camera, relighting your jackpot, rinse and repeat. Now, as a beginning player, you'll probably be lucky to get one, maybe two jackpots. You're probably not going to get a lot, which is fine. Because you're also relying on progressing yourself through the modes. So anytime you have an opportunity to, so it's going to come out of here. And again, you got to watch that feed. You got to kind of know where this feed is really nasty when it comes out. Most of the time you can bounce over, get your ball under control. This particular one, you got to flip it away. So I'm going to get it under control, and I'm going to try to pop it into that shot. So I've got my gumball. Okay, so that gives me my first mode. These pop bumpers here are really dangerous. If it goes in those pop bumpers, could be death, absolute death. So slot machine, let's see here. Yeah, right ramp is a slot machine. So I want to relight. Okay. So I relit my right ramp, my slot machine mode by shooting that right ramp. Now, what I did was, when it came out of there, I tried to get it into the piano shot because that is my other avenue for modes. Again, in this particular machine, that left ramp isn't registering to give me my lock, so I'm really just trying to progress through modes. That was a mistake. I really should have gone a little further over, but now, one thing to be aware of, as I said, for the most part, I'm really I'm sucking right now, but I'm not plunging into the skill shot. Why? Because typically, if you plunge a skill shot, it's going to go in. Now this particular one, it bounces out, but it's going to go into the it goes into this rocket shot, and then it puts into the pop bumpers. And the pop bumpers, as I said before, are incredibly dangerous. They're just really, they're a bunch of no good, is what they are. Okay, so I have my fast lock lit, and I've been having